welcome to the stream. My name is Lee. I'm still here for you, it's fine. Just remember, I'm not a woman. I'm gonna be square. What else? Going live, yes. Okay. Boop. No, it's free. Okay. All right, so for those of you who are less familiar with the stream, I tend to do a thing wherein I, at the beginning of the stream, I'll just start the actual stream stuff right away. I tend to go on and tell everyone I'm streaming because I posted the schedule late. I generally like to go remind people I'm streaming. Boom. Okay. So, it's pretty much everyone. And, yeah. So my mother spent all day yesterday buying me healthy foods because she's a great mother. I love her. So, I'm going to eat them because, why not? Alright, so, that's official. Those of you who watch the stream with any regularity know that I tend to, here, open this up. Though we have some fun new stuff I just downloaded, so that's fun. Wait a minute. Let's go to downloads. Okay. Well, yeah, we have some fun stuff actually, but boom. Yes, that stuff. So, yes, I'm going to, as per the usual, let me see. I go to Dark Heresy Shenanigans. So, for those of you who don't know, back in the early 20-teens, / late 20-aughts, I think it was 2009 maybe, the company called Fantasy Flight Games released a series of role-playing games for Warhammer 40k. They did Only War, which was the Imperial Guard. They did Deathwatch, which was Space Marines. They did Rogue Trader, one of my favorites, which was for, rogue traders. And they did, what's the one? They have Dark Heresy, which was the Inquisition. Which nobody expected, but, sorry. In any case, the games were all co-linked. That is to say, they were all running on the same system, and the characters could be imported from one to the other, but the power balance the character creation rules for each game were slightly different, in that it was just about power balance, which feats and talents and skills you got. Like, you got higher stats and more feats if you were, say, a Space Marine than if you were an Inquisitorial Goon. Rogue Traders were somewhere in the middle. So, you know, they had different ways of balancing that. Basically saying how much XP you were said to have already had in character creation, which is a little weird, but basically, if you were started out as playing Dark Heresy, you would get 0 XP spent at character creation, assumed to have 0, and then you would get 400 XP to spend pre-playing just to start your character up, right? Whereas, here, I'll show you my move. Let me bring up the Dark Heresy. Here we go. Oh no, that's the Death Watch, sorry. I'm bringing up Death Watch. That's Space Marines. You got, whereas the Space Marines, I think it's somewhere around 12,000 that you were said to have gotten. And then you got an additional 500 to spend. And, I think for, Rogue Trader, it was somewhere around 9,000. Having assumed to have your character spend all that experience before, for standalone games is kind of pointless, but for a series of interconnected games where you might be porting the characters from one to the other, it makes sense as a way to measure how ridiculously powerful your characters are. So, you know, it's Death Watch. We haven't done any Space Marines yet. We have done, over the course of this stream, is we started with Rogue Trader, and we created, let me show you that, a ship and a number of crew members. Some of these guys, I wrote notes about them and or their home planets in my handy dandy notebook, which I type up on Wednesday nights. So eventually we'll get to the part where I started doing Rogue Trader in that notebook, because I started with just Pathfinder characters, and then I started doing also Rogue Trader characters. So when I did type ups, eventually after like another 10 pages of typing up Pathfinder characters, we'll get to the Rogue Trader characters. But my point on all of that is that we did the Expectus Primus, and so when I started putting together Expectus Primus, I took skimmy version, like a skim version of the notes, like bullet point version, just to, you know, get down the basics, and then I just put a few notes on each of the planet, like Meriteth, the religious control Agri World. There's more notes on Meriteth in the journal. Zezaros has more notes on it. I think Fulfea has some more notes too. But feel like we used Corstanus for a planet, but I can't remember. So if we run into it in a notebook, we did. Otherwise, we didn't. Growth, we did not. So essentially, what I would do is I wrote down a list that just was, hey, these are some cool names for planets. By the way, if you're in chat right now, or if you happen to be watching this VOD, because I know some people do actually. Not all of these end up as VOD, but I try to get them up to YouTube as, you know, I have them archived. If you ever stumble across one and you think of a really cool name for planet, put it in the comments. Put it in the chat. I'm serious. I could use more planet names. I name a lot of planets. A lot of countries, a lot of continents, a lot of... I have to name a lot of places geographically, and having other people help me is really handy. But, so, what was I gonna say? Oh, yeah, so, basically, I kept doing that, and, eventually I was like, I got a copy of the Dark Heresy book, and they said, hey, why don't you check this out? So I did, and I started going on stream and creating Dark Heresy. So, I put all of the planets are all here, because here's what we did, Dark Heresy. I just did the characters on the Dark Heresy notes, and they're all typed up because I started post, taking notes on, a word processor as opposed to, what's the technical term? As opposed to notebook. So, they're all, but this is just characters, because any notes on their planets, and I did put, more character notes, bio notes. I probably should put more bio notes for the, oh, yes. Oh, yes, she's a bearded woman. That's what it is. Intimate and finds one more attractive when drunk. We rolled twice for her sexuality, and you know she's less straight when she's drunk. And you know what? I was like, yeah, we can do this. That's a vibe. So, anyway, but we created 8 characters, and I don't know what I'm doing with them. So that's fun. But so right. So Peppino. Okay, the Peppino, we didn't actually put any notes on the Peppino, but Cassette, they're both Voidborn, so boom. Yes. Born Zazarian. Right. So we actually went back. But all of these guys, when I create sent them put them as from planets that didn't right, Zazarian, I think we basically like one of them, when we rolled what kind of ship she came from, because we were rolling randomly for all of them. There is a point to all of this. Sorta. Okay. Yeah. Don't let walnuts go down the wrong way. Not fun. Yes, so we had aboard the Expectus Primus, and so, right, from Pneumator. For example, Pneumator, I think, was one of the first ones that we don't have anyone from the Expectus Primus. No one from the Expectus Primus is from there, but we have notes on it here because they're in the same world, because one of the Inquisitorial goons came from the Expectus Primus. So what I've been doing over the course of how long I've been at this, I think it's over the course of a year now, I've been adding lore for how the crew came together, what, certain people did, oh yes, and then some of the lore on the house, and then detailed biographies is just those are mostly just character sheets, honestly. We started typing them up, and then the implants, but I might Kurosawa, yeah, he was born no, anyway, right, I think we put it in lore. Johan Johansson the 45th. Right. Yes. I want to say he was from Balboa. We actually put planets. We need more. Maybe not up here, but we need to add more lore, I think. Because they're definitely... Great Woman. Odette. Yes. Zael. Yes. So we need to go... relevant planets. And then we, of course... Visaria, I typed up the notes from, but... things like Meredith, not so much. Alright. I don't know if anyone actually is from Envillum. It just... The story of Meredith tied in with Envillum, and that... worked. Yeah. But anyway, what was I gonna do? I usually, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, add to the lore in some way. Create new characters, tweak up the background for existing characters. I don't do a lot of type up specifically for Warhammer, although I would occasionally. I could. I used to, wow, okay. Today is... Wow. Okay. Sorry. So let me go to the lore section and just see what I have. I think there might be more that I meant to add and never did. And okay, the planets. Yeah, planets. Yeah. And scooping them in the late teens when he has ships for them. A scoop like this, he. Stevenson house, and then I put in a notes on the house, the Stevenson house. With the family favor to get her navigator, Farina, studied on Terra as a child, was finally allowed to go back during called family's favor. Only be shipped off on the Expectus Primus. I need to figure out what planet she's from. Because she's not from Holy Terra. We established that. Yeah, that's about much lore. Jezebel had been press ganged by them. Okay, wait. Jezebel? Was it? No, it was Janthine. From Visaria. Where when did Janthine get... Who? Okay, hang on. I think I might have mixed up something. Janthine? Did I put... Herman, bunch of orcs. Yes. Zaladin conscripted into, the fight went badly. Ship was destroyed. Handful of survivors picked up by the Expectus Primus. Oh, yes. The ship Precus was... Okay. Hang on. The ship Precus was press ganged into working for the Oedipus Mechanics Explorer fleet. Including the three now on Expectus Primus. Odette was born on the ship, and Herman and Jezebel had been press ganged by them. Oh, right. The ships... Hang on. We had a whole background for... Okay. Okay, yes. Who got press ganged? Right. Right. So, right. The captain, right. So, now that makes sense. Right, because the three working on the ship were, hang on, who were the three explorators? We had, Janthine, other explorator. Oh, and Willem. Tarana. Yes. She was from Envillum, and they had helped the... Right. I remember this. That's why we had Envillum. And then, Rosvoila Aceres was from Meredith. They were... Oh, there was a whole thing about Meredith. And that how the, All right. Inferno was not from Terra. She was from somewhere else. We have to figure that out. Right. And then, right. Gothraxis, Rolus, Wexender, yes. Finnick was from Cesaros. He was the Astropath. We had multiple people for Cesaros. Well, no, we had Cesaros was that he was originally from Cesaros. That's why we put the planet together, and then right, he was originally from Cesaros, and then we put the planet together, and then we used it for the other guys from the thing, right? And that's why we even put anything about it. I think there might be some notes. Hang on, might have to go. Oh, Zasaron. No, it was Zasaron. Cesaros was a different planet. Sorry, I'm mixing them up. Where is this? Zasaron was the hive. Cesaron, Serapop, and hang on. Dark Heresy shenanigans. Yes, save. We do save. Liliana Sweet. Martin by the cassette. Was from Zasaron, and then Brutus Zazaron. Yeah, okay, they're both born in Zazaron, so Zazarius was a different one. Okay. Hang on. Zazaron. Zazarios. Yeah. Okay, Zazarios was a different, so hang on. Finnick was born on, okay, so he was, Nicholas Helmschul. Oh, right. He was the okay. Right. I gotcha. Alright. And then Lauren Merp was rescued because of that. Gotcha. Right. Kurosawa. Okay. Stored a Forge World. Adrena. Genre. Hang on. We don't even know what Forge World she's from. Did we not? Figure out. Might have a. Okay. We might have. I think I might have figured it out and then not written it down. And having it figured out, not written down, is not good. Alright. So, hang on. See what. No, that's Skelby. Oh, right. Hang on. That's Skelby's mom. Adrena is Skelby's mom. Right. And she named her Skelby as a boy, and then she didn't change her name when she came out. Right. I remember this. Okay. Is that Adrena? No. Do we have any notes on? Right. I remember this. She got Scrape Grace, criminal. Right. She was Calamity. We were working on that. We might have specified. Hang on. Bionic left leg. Tip of her tongue and input jack is retractable. It's common placement for people with lower classes on Forge World she's from, which we never specified. She's had them since she was 12. That's when she got her first surgery putting in her electrograft. Skin grafts, which appear as tattoos and siphon power from the nervous system, and can also emit or siphon it from other sources. On her tongue she got when she was a punk kid that barely works. The rest of them are big light blue circles across her back and scrolling down her arms. Right. Right. Burnished black metal roughly shaped original face with a retractable slit built so she can stick her tongue out both for the port and so she can taste things. Right. We had a whole thing on that. I don't know. She got it put in after she'd already put the injector ports in her tongue. All right. Cyber mantle. Metal framework, right. And then she just has the metal. That's just lumps stuck to the top of her head. We're trying to figure out how to get the hair to looking like a bun around it, and we ended up looking silly trying it. But you know, but we never figured out what Forge World she's from, and we should probably figure that out. Right, because she was from. Yeah, she was from a Forge World. From the lower class. We need to figure out what Forge World she's from. And then we did Johan Johansson. And then we actually put a little notes on Johan Johansson's backstory. Alright. Boss's daughter. It was a hot mess. Okay. And I believe he was from Balboa. Let me just check our main list. Yes, Balboa. Because we created Balboa. So we need to figure out a Forge World for Edwina Jorna. For Jorna. Okay. So. Forge World, figure out what Forge World she's from, because we came up with all sorts of cool details for her backstory based on her stuff, but we never actually figure out which Forge World she's from. Let's see. So we have Forge Worlds. So we have two options essentially. We can make her from the same Forge World as someone else, or we can make a whole new Forge World. And I'm big on making new planets, honestly. I do for fun. I make planets for fun. This is something we do. If you've watched the stream for a long time, you will know there are a dozen. I made all of these. Like, look, it's got Hamish. Let's see. We got Visaria. That's a death world. A few valuable resources. Mostly produces food. And a few others in nearby research stations. So it's a agri world, but death world. Yeah, it's not much anything. Visaria is the hive world with a lot of water. It's these big cities. And then we got Bertland, which is a ship. Okay, so we have Bertland, run by the Adeptus Mechanicus. Large part of the southern part of the planet is controlled by a faction who firmly believes in the Emperor's Omnissiah. Right, that's where Jarian grew up on Bertland. She had this whole... yes. So she grew up with an order of basically nuns of the Adeptus Mechanicus. Sorta. So we got that going. Alright, we have Meriteth. We have other notes on Meriteth. The Forge World. So we have in Willem, the Forge World that aided in the rebellion on Meriteth. Which actually ended up being an ugly thing. There's a whole thing. What else? So basically, our options so far, we could, she could be from Bertland originally, or she could be from, hang on. Was she, let me look at the lore section, because including, so, she actually wasn't, coping, right, Stevenson House, right, Chip Kirkus was signed by explorers, okay, yes. After they picked up survivors, right, including now, three now on the, okay, so, right. Primus, which three? Because we had, that was the fourth, she was the fourth one, so we had, hang on, I think, Adroina was a explorer. Do we have any other explorers? Explorer, Rosevoila, I think it was Rosevoila, Taranra and Janthine. So, those three, and then we had, we're right, because that was before Adorno was, you know, we could do something fun with that. You know what? She's from Bertland. She's from Bertland. Why, you might ask? Because I do love I do love creating planets. But if she's from Bertland, because we're trying to create more lore about all the crew together, not just, you know, as there's this whole weird interweaving backstory, and I want to expand on that a little bit, which we did. I also am running out of names, so there's that. I mean, I could just invent them. Like, Beezus was invented on the spot. It wasn't picked from my list of cool planet names. But, okay. Wow. Yeah. So we've got some updates today. We did something. That's pretty cool. We didn't create a whole new character or anything, but we did tweak their lore a little, so that's something. We go to the lore section. Namely, Janthine, Tirana, and who were all that was born on the ship, and Herman and Jezebel had been press ganged by them. Yes. What was Jezebel? What was her deal? Sorry, who was Jezebel? Straight trans woman. Oh yeah, he was an extra astropath. She'd been press ganged as an astropath. Oh wow. They have multiple frickin' trans women in the Adeptus Astropathica. That's pretty cool. You know, trans women with psychic powers ruling the world. No big deal. It was actually not intentional. So I roll. Actually, for those of you who are new, I don't. Some of you are anyone who's watching is probably one of. Let's see, where is it? Chart Imperium. Nope. That one. Haha. This chart right here. This is the one. So I tend to use this chart to roll up my characters, and then yeah. Yeah. So I tend to roll up my characters on this chart, and then decide, you know, figure out from there, because otherwise none of them would be straight, and here, like, most of them are straight, which is more in line with, you know, existence and reality. And I know I don't have to make, I'm in no obligation to make any of my characters straight, and I know writers who refuse to, but it's still, given that I'm making so many characters and they're so deeply interconnected, I feel like at least some of them would be straight, and I want to try to, you know, move out of my comfort zone a little, and straight characters. So, yeah, there's that. Yeah. Give me half a second, actually. Sorry about that. Okay, better now. Kinda. Okay. But I do want to at least... Let's see, it's 12:15 now. I'm thinking we're going to send the stream until 12:30, right? That'll have been an hour. It's a pretty decent length for a stream. And then I can at least get, some actual work done. But, you know. Alright, hang on. So we had... Omnisaya, at least officially. Though they, what did they do? Tacitly ignore a number of questionable organizations. In the same territory. With less, yeah, so they have this whole freaking thing where they have the crime families, because if they have crime families, that means, yes, alright, hang on. There's a fly in my room. You know what, it can be allowed to live for now. I'll kill it eventually. What was I gonna say? I was just testing my patience. Okay, so, now I have to figure out the... Okay, do I have any notes on Birdland? That's, okay, now we go to the lore and say that Rorite was brought with, Right, so... There's about a number of crew members. I'm just gonna say other crew members as well. Until I figure out what the heck I was supposed to be saying about that. I had a point on that, and I forgot what it was. If someone in the chat would be reminding me, that would be helpful. Otherwise, oh, we do have one viewer, so someone's watching. I appreciate that, by the way. High key appreciate it. Right. Who was it? Okay, so who was the other one from Birdland? Edwina Genre. Yes. Okay, she has a really hard to pronounce name, but we figured it out. That's okay. Alright, was also brought aboard, by the captain. Yeah, so... Helm Shoal, right. Yes, so she was brought aboard, by the captain, I feel like he at least kept his kids a little longer, than that. You know. Boom. Okay, so hit save. Stupid. No. Fly is testing my patience. But I'm trying to stream, so you know. Yes. Now, I have the Death Watch core rulebook up still. I just realized. Let's see. Run the fleet of ships. Yes. So he has the fleet of ships with his warrant of trade. He's known for leaving his children at age 8 or so to various different planets, then scooping them in their late teens when he has ships for them. Which, you're in a scoop like this, so she, on board the ship. The ship had a number of other crew members as well. It was brought along by Captain Helmshow. As a companion. A reformed, partially reformed. Yes, so there was that. Alright, this premise, right, we talked about the Stevenson house and the family drama. Other explorators, because the ship press. Okay, so it was press gang into working for the Mechanicus Explorer fleet, named Genthu, who were all originally assigned to the Precus to ensure compliance. Among other reasons. Adet was born on the ship, and Herman and Jezebel had been press ganged by them. Jezebel. Okay, Herman. Oh, it was for Viseri. Right. He was press ganged at the same time as. Alright, that was his whole thing. And then, yes. So the question is whether. Right, because Herman. Okay, Jezebel. Okay, she was press ganged. So what was her deal? Because she was. I think I have notes. I hope I have notes on her. But because if she was born, if she was, she was probably press ganged. Well, more like assigned, right? Hang on. What's her? Do we have? I know I have at the very least. Do I have her in there? Circuitry. Gear. Hang on. Odette. We have Zael. Oh no. Okay, so Odette and Zael were the only ones we typed up from that originally got put in here. So, hang on. Oof. All right. All right. We're going back into this notebook of notebooks. Let's see. Burden, which that's what we're typing up now. So he's got 2 wild shapes per day. All right. We got Ethel and her mother and siblings, cantrips. And then the Ranger, Claude, Hive. Okay, here we go. Janthine, straight girl. Here we go. Have Janthine. Starting gear, common lore skills. Okay, service of Nikado. Right. Did we mention the Kato? Hang on. Did we mention Kato on here? Johan Johansson. Okay, so we go up here. Jantine. That. Yep. Yeah, Jantine was the first one. Okay, yeah, that's when we started typing stuff up. Hive World, Renegade, alright, Press Gang. Hang on. Ditch the. What's it? Service Goal. We did mention Kato. Okay. Let's see. Then we had Notes on Visaria, which we typed up as well. Iktin, who was a human of some class. Ho-Fi, yes, who got named by Blue Box himself, actually. Very fun fact. Let's see. Nicolette, more companion for somebody. Odette, here we go. That's Odette. Zeptek, Minion of Cloud, Sword Class Frigate. That's the Notes on the Expected Premise itself, which we all took down notes on. Hang on. 4th level, Andre Duchamp, Sevier. Okay, that's notes on world building. Days of the week. Hang on. That's in a Oh, I mean Magisterisma. Yeah. Okay, level 20 paladin who's kind of a badass. Divine Bond, which okay. Zael, okay, who we actually got. Herman, which there's a whole thing with Herman. Hang on. Notes in the Expectus Primus. This was supposed to go up in lore, but we press ganged into the also broadly works. Yes. Okay. So Miles Homeworld. Cultivating mushrooms. That's Hamish, the Death World, which we have the notes on. Cleric, that's Henri Diplôme, which is a law domain. Nurse Bells. Oh yeah, that's for a completely different thing. Here we go. Jerion, that's the captain. I found the captains. This is my notes on the captain so far. And then we have the gear and a few other things. What? Were rather left in the care of the church to the God Emperor Azon Nisayan, a shipyard planet, until she was 12. And then brought back to her father, who was a rogue trader. Okay. Okay, so we'll have to clarify whether she was scooped, whether it was just like 5 or 6 years where she was on the planet or until he needed her. Let's see. The flails. Oh, yeah, that was a whole flail thing. Bertland. Here we go. The shipyard planet. We have a whole notes on Bertland. Okay. Oh, it has 2 docs for repairs. That's okay. We have to figure out, now that I have my notes on Bertland, I have to figure out where the criminal element fits into all of that. Still gonna keep it, but we'll let's see. Dagmar, Sanity 4, Feria. Okay, I have notes on the Feria. We're getting close. Magistra's Malhouse, based on Terra. Okay. Gilnea's northern border is mountains marked by the border of the Hitherland. Oh, yes, that's for completely different worlds. That's not part of this one. Different universe. Corona, also in a different universe. She has some spells. Ainsley, that is for a completely different universe. That's from the Violette Dangereux, and the Thirsty Sword Lesbians. Common Lore Tech. Sputruin, oh, Tarantra, we, Pure Underworld. Interesting. She is a wanted fugitive. Press ganged. Ooh, we can have some fun stuff with that. Hang on, let me see. Did I put that down? Hang on. All of our large chunks of our Home Shoal, Stevenson. No, I hadn't put the notes. I hadn't typed those notes up there. But she has the same path as Adroina of Scapegrace to Criminal to Explorator Pipeline. Similar origin path, not the same, I think. Let me find. Judged and found wanting. Yeah. Calamity. Oh, Press Gang. Yeah, okay. So it did diverge. After Forge World, Scapegrace, Criminal, it diverged after that. And then came back to Explorator. We had Herman and Janthine had the exact same origin path all the way down. And except for the last one. Like they had exact same sub, which we calculated the odds. It's less than 1 in 1,000, I think. So I was like, okay, well, this calls for something fun. So we ended up doing that they were from the same planet and got press ganged separately and then got put back together again. Implants. Oh yeah, she has the good craftsmanship bionic leg. Okay, so Johan Johansson, right? Oh right, so we have her. Vagmar is human and Infernal Source. Okay, so sorcerer with spells. Okay, Rosvoila. That's this one. Sorry, I'm just getting. Ooh, I did buy a crime baron. Oh, that's Johan Johansson. Never mind. Imperial World. Oh, Meriteth. I found my notes on Meriteth. So that's pretty cool. Planetary Governor. Oh, yes. Sensho. And Willem. Oh, yeah, I have notes on Willem, too. We're going to have to type these up at some point. Blue Steel, which is a completely separate universe. The IUZW registration. Often used for questionable activities. Okay, Cassie. Oh, yeah, trying to create Cassie. Gothraxis. Notes on Gothraxis. Thirsty Axe Lesbians. That's a completely different universe. Interesting, though. Finnick. Here we go. Okay, then we have Alara Merp, which is, we had her, and then Grillin, he's just a guy, incandescent gas, Cesaros, which we put as a Death World, which we have notes on as well, Bernheld Stonebreaker, completely different version of Bernheld, Jezebel, here we go. Jeremy, right. Her dead name was... Yeah, okay. And then... Okay. She got 2 wounds. +1 plus... Fate points 3. The... Ship dialect. Okay, so... Any notes on her other than... So, this is my notes on Juliet, which is what I wanted to say is what her, Oh, that was a different Juliet. Jezebel, sorry. I was notes on Jezebel, not Juliet. Different trans woman. Also a badass and doing the best on things, I'm sure. Juliet Johansson. Yes. Alright. So, navigator, obtain basic skills, navigation, stellar pilots, spacecraft. Oh, and train basic skills, that's cool. Scavenger, tainted, a mutation. I think so she had another mutation as well. Yeah, no, she had a secondary mutation of some sort, and I didn't write down what it was. Did I? Yeah, she had a secondary mutation that led her to being, well, it would have led her to being killed, but she had the psychic power, so she got shipped off on the black ship instead, and they kind of ignored it because she was an astropath anyway, so she was already kind of mutant. Does it specify in our little notes here? No, it doesn't. She just kind of has an extra mutation that I didn't specify which mutation she had. Okay, well, that's something. Extra astropath, Voidborn. Yeah, she got brought on. Yeah, so she was brought on after they already had Finnick because on board Cesaros. Yeah, so sent Finnick with Jarian's father sent Finnick with her, and then she ended up when she rescued the crew of the Precus. Right. Good to know. Okay, so okay. Yeah, these guys, yeah, despite. Right, in their youth, they had a whole. There's a whole back. Their youth. Okay, so that was right. So just to clarify, I had a run with a bunch of orcs, Imperial Guard troops. One of whom had been conscripted into. They just pulled a bunch of refugees off the planet Beezus. The fight went badly. The ship was destroyed. Okay, so then they later agreed. Right, because he was rescued. The ship was rescued by his sister from attack because the navigator. He just got caught up as collateral damage in a fight between navigator houses, and his sister happened to have the navigator on board, who owed her mother a favor to go rescue her cousin, and that was his call to faith. Right. Okay. I think that's enough for today, but I appreciate you popping along for the ride with me. I'm going to do type ups of some of this stuff at some point, but today wasn't a type up stream day. However, we did end up creating a little more lore for Bertland and some other places. We ended up getting them together. We ended up doing a little bit, so you know, small progress, and I appreciate vibing with you guys, even though there's very few of you. And yeah, let's see if we can do a raid. You know what, we're gonna, I haven't raided, okay, so we could do a Jamhina, who is doing tabletop RPGs, or we could go pop in on Epic Duck Studios, fun artist, Let's go to Jamina. I think is probably doing world building. So, world building community got to stick together. Let's do this. Tiny raid. Okay.